Okay, so greetings and welcome. My name is Katie Harvey, and I'm the AIMS Programs Committee Chair. I'm so glad could join us today for AIM to Connect Insights on Membership, a discussion on organizational best practices and strategies for acquiring and maintaining memberships, with Carrie M. Miller, Membership Manager at the Indiana State Museum and Historic Sites, and Jill Coates Matthews, the Executive Director for Montgomery County Historical Society. So as we go along, please feel free to put questions in the chat feature, and we'll address those at the end of the program. There's time, and also during the question and answers, feel free to unmute yourself and join the conversation. But without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing and let Jill take it away.
We'll do this correctly here. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jill Coates Matthews. I'm the director here at the Montgomery County Historical Society. For those who are not familiar with us, we're located in Crawfordsville, Indiana, so on the west side of the state. We are a historic home. We've been a System 12, and we've been in the home that you can kind of see on my first presentation slide there. We're kind of interesting in that we're a historical society, but we also have the house, which has a lot of rich family history. So we're kind of in a weird spot where we talk about the county, but we also talk a lot about the family that lived here in the home. And you can kind of see in the background here, I'm in the family parlor currently.
Jill, I believe we have lost you. You are frozen.
Oh no. Okay.
Are you going to hop on to another spot, or would you like Carrie to go ahead and
shoot. All right. Can you guys not shoot? All right. I'm going to try and move to a different spot. Carrie, if you want to, you can jump on, or if you guys don't mind waiting a minute, I'm going to try and move to a different part of the house.
I can jump on.
Carrie, you should be able to start just sharing your screen.
Okay, doke. I'm getting a host disabled participant screen sharing.
And so that would be, guys, thank you so much for your patience as we get this. There you go. Oh, and it looks like Jill's already back.
All right.
A lot of new features happening today. Extremely grateful for your patience as we get it all worked out. So Jill, continue to take it away.
All right. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure where I froze or what all of you heard, so I'm going to kind of briefly recap from what I was saying. So again, I am here in Montgomery County Historical Society here in Crawfordsville, Indiana. Our home is kind of unique in that we cover the family history as well as the county history. We are one of 4 historical institutions in our community. So we have a Rotary Jail, a Carnegie Museum, a Luala Study, and then ourselves. So our community gets really taxed on historical entities and different membership opportunities, which makes it sometimes interesting for us to pull them into our membership fold. So what I'm going to show you guys first is one of the things that I've done while here. I started here in 2018. And so I've tried to make some changes over the last few years to kind of streamline and update our membership. So on this page, you can see Just ignore the dates because they just automatically populate. The one on the left side is our old version of our membership letter. That's our old logo. It's just very static. It was the same membership letter year after year after year. The one on the right side, we've tried to update it, make it a little bit more relevant, a little bit easier to read. Trying to help our membership feel more invested in our mission here as a historical society. Sorry, going out really threw me for a moment. So if I'm not making sense, please, someone chime in. So one of the things we do is that we send our membership letters out every January, and we generally send them out to our previous year membership, as well as whatever new lists we have. So the way our membership works, because we are a small institution, and it's really hard for us to maintain multiple entry points for membership, we just do it on the yearly basis. So regardless of when you become a member, you are a member for that year. The only thing that we kind of do is if you come in at October, November, we'll usually roll your membership into the next year's membership, just because that kind of simplifies, and we don't want to make any of our members feel like they've been gypped essentially in their membership. So one of the things we do after that initial membership mailing in January is we kind of wait until March, April for everyone to have had a chance to send it in, because some of our members will take a little while, but they'll always get it into us, is that I have a membership committee, and one of my membership committee members, that's a mouthful, she will actually handwrite letters to previous members that have not renewed for the year. And it's a labor of love for her. And that's what you get with a smaller institution like this, is you get a lot of people that are really passionate and that really believe in your mission and are willing to put in a little extra elbow grease into things like that. And so she will send out a second handwritten letter to those people she knows and to those that she's seen their names in the list for years and they haven't renewed yet. And almost always they end up renewing their membership for the year. So that's pretty amazing. Something else we've tried to do is, before this, I think most of the letters that went out just had like a membership letter with a membership card. When someone has become a member, the previous directors were just signing letters that were just very static. And so I have tried to myself take the time and write a little note to each of our members. A lot of them I'll just say thank you. But for our higher level members, I'll try and take the time and write a little bit of a longer note to them, just making it more personal, giving that connection, just wanting to improve those membership relations. Something else we've done is tried to streamline our membership form. And so you can see, again, our older version on the left, our new one on the right. They tried to make it easier for them to see what they were getting in the membership, and tried to take out some of the extra verbiage in there that seemed to make it more confusing, a little more cluttered. Also, a lot of people don't really use our memberships as ways to come and visit us. They actually use them as ways to support our institution. We are one of the, well, like I said, there's 4 different historical groups here in Crawfordsville itself. And we're the only one that doesn't get any kind of city or state funding. So we're entirely dependent on donations and memberships and grants. So we get a lot of things with our memberships, but most people never end up using those. This is just a way for them to support us, which is really kind of unique, I think. And I have some information here. I wanted to kind of show how things have changed, especially with COVID. So if you look in 2020 for our memberships, our household numbers was actually pretty low. But if you look at it on the other side, the memberships and donations, our membership total dues and donations was quite high. And what happened was a lot of people stopped getting memberships because they didn't think they were going to be able to come or send family. Instead, they either sent donations or they sent a higher level membership was what they became. So it was kind of interesting to see that we actually did fairly well, or about the same as what we had been expecting. It was just in a different way than what we expected. If that makes sense. And you can see that our total dues has kind of stayed the same, has built a little bit the last few years from COVID. And our memberships is our donations. I mean, our donations is kind of all over the place. We have a few members that are big donors, and it really just depends on how well they're doing that year and what different organizations are pulling them the most. So COVID impacted us in a weird sort of way in that it affected our membership and how they were giving, not necessarily how much they gave, just it went into different pots, if that makes sense. Now, one of the things I wanted to touch on briefly was that for new members, we really try and reach new residents, and we try and kind of work with some of the institutions around here because we're all in the same boat trying to get members. And so we'll share some lists. One of the lists that we're currently trying to get is like retired teachers. So we try and hit different parts of the population that we think would be most interested. We try not to do just blanket mailings. That's really expensive for us and really unwieldy when we only have a few volunteers that are putting together mailings. So we try and be kind of targeted with our memberships and our mailings that are to people that have never had a membership before. As far as ways that we entice people with memberships, we aren't really able to do a whole lot of that right now as far as special opportunities goes. That's something we've done in the past, and that's something we're hoping to do in the future. Right now, I am the only employee right here, so it makes it kind of hard to do extra programming, and especially coming out of COVID. We did have some programs planned, and we had to put all of them on hold. Just with our membership makeup is mostly older individuals. And so especially with the concern about COVID and other illnesses, we have to be really careful and really thoughtful in how we reach out to them, which also means reaching out to them via Zoom, which a lot of people did with different programs, is not necessarily a good option for us. Also sending out things via email, doing email membership letters or newsletters. When about a third of your membership doesn't have an email address, that's hard to do. So it makes it just really interesting. Well, I feel like maybe I went a little short, but that is really what I had put together, and I look forward to any questions anyone has.
Jill, would you like to take those now or wait till the end?
If there's a few, I can take them now. Otherwise, I don't mind waiting if there's just a couple of them right now that would pertain to both Carrie and I.
Well, the one that I have for you, Jill, is why did you choose January? Typically that end of the year push is where I've seen most letters go out. So why do you think January?
Well, really, it came down to what made it easiest for us, because we found that we've pushed it in December and we pushed it in January, and it didn't make a whole lot of a difference as far as our membership numbers. Doing it in January let us make sure that everything that came in was in our year for how we were counting dues and donations towards our towards what we expected for our budget. When we did it in December, and so when we put that into our account, it's going in with the 2021 year instead of the 2022 year. And that really confused some of my members with, or some of my board members with how our budget was actually working out. And since it didn't really affect our numbers in a really significant way, we just decided to kind of stick with January for simplicity's sake. Again, with a small staff and board members as my main form of help, you do what is easiest sometimes than what maybe is traditionally done.
Yeah, no, staff capacity, you've got to be able to do what you can do. So, and it doesn't seem like it's affecting your membership base.
Luckily, our community is really passionate about history, which is not probably the case for every community, but we're pretty lucky here.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. And I do have a question here in chat. As your town population changes, do you see moving towards a fully digital membership, AKA more people with email addresses.
That is our hope. We certainly have started doing more with digital, and we're trying to get more emails from people. That's not been something that's been traditionally asked for from a lot of our membership. So we are getting more of those with the hope that as we can get more staff, we can do more things like an emailed newsletter and membership reminders. Because right now we don't send any kind of renewal letters or anything. We just send out that membership form with a letter to our existing membership and to non-members in January. And that is their renewal then.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Those are all the questions at this time. So I appreciate you sharing your insights. If you want to stop sharing, Carrie, I believe you now have the ability to share your screen.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carrie Miller. I'm the membership manager with the Indiana State Museum and Historic Sites. For brevity, I will probably from here on out just refer to it as the ISMHS. But I have been with the ISMHS for 16 years now, 10 years in our education and engagement department, and the past 6 years in our membership department under the umbrella of visitor services. Our slogan, if you will, for membership promotions is that we're using the tagline, "Our members go places." Our system is a 12-site system. We have 11 historic sites that have statewide locations. We also have one museum in Indianapolis, where I am speaking from, the Indiana State Museum in Indianapolis downtown. And all of our locations cover the subjects of archaeology, Native American history, cultural history, art, and science. As part of a membership, not only can you travel to our 12 locations, but it also comes with reciprocal benefits. The ISMHS pays for a membership of our own to 2 associations. One is the Association of Science and Technology Centers, ASTC. They have something called a travel passport program, where participating institutions such as ourselves, if you have a membership with a participating reciprocal, then on the back of your membership card, you will have the ASTC approved logo, and that will allow you to be eligible for free admission to other science centers that are 90 miles from the Indiana State Museum. We have some science centers inside the state of Indiana. For instance, there is a science center in Bloomington. Per our ASTC rules, unfortunately, their members and our members are not eligible for the free admission because we do strictly abide by the 90-mile rule. So for our purposes, the promotion for the ASTC reciprocal benefit is more like, hey, are you planning a trip to Chicago? Are you planning a trip outside of the state anyway? With your membership, some towns that have, cities that have science centers will be eligible for reciprocal admission. We also have a membership with the North American Reciprocal Museum Association. They shorten themselves to just NARM. NARM is more cultural history related and art, pardon me. And we have the Indianapolis Museum of Art, also known as Newfields. Newfields and the Indiana State Museum in Indianapolis are 9 miles from each other. Well, NARM also has a travel rule. 2 institutions cannot reciprocate admission within 15 miles of each other. And both of those stipulations with the 90-mile rule and the 15-mile rule, it's all in an effort so that way no one institution can gather free admission to all of them. So when we have the feeling when we're making a membership sale that the person is wanting to use our membership to get into new fields, for example, we have to say, I'm sorry, but there is a rule that even we have to abide by. But for the most part, that's when we also then go back to our go-to of, but if you're traveling to Louisville, or if you're traveling to Chicago, if you're traveling to Columbus, Ohio. So those are part of our members can go places with our membership. Benefits for all members. We have 3 different membership levels, a family plus, a family, and an individual. And the benefits that you're seeing on this screen apply to all levels of membership. Free admission to our 12 statewide locations, the reciprocal benefits of the ASTC travel passport program. We are fortunate enough to have a partnership with the IMAX Theater. The IMAX Theater attached to the museum is not part of the museum. They are a separate operation. And again, we are very fortunate to have a partnership with them that allows for vouchers and discounts on tickets as part of a membership. 10% discount at all the gift shops statewide, all of our locations, a newsletter, invitations, and discounts on programs and camps, as well as discounts on dining if you're visiting the State Museum. Family Plus is our highest level of membership at $140. 2 adults, all the children or grandchildren in the household, free admission for 2 additional guests. You can add a designated caregiver if someone else needs to be bringing the children, if you are not able to. And with this particular level, not only do you get the ASTC reciprocal benefit, but this is our only level that allows also for the NARM reciprocal benefit. 4 IMAX vouchers, and we validate all parking while visiting the museum as part of the Family Plus. Our family membership at $100 is 2 adults, all children, 2 IMAX vouchers, and 3 parking passes for free. Once the free parking passes have been redeemed, we do offer then discounted parking. So if you come and you visit and all your free vouchers have been used, we can discount that down to a flat $5. Individual is for 1 person and a guest at $75, and it has all the same benefits that the family membership has above with regards to the IMAX vouchers and the 3 parking passes. And with any membership program, it's very circular. The basics are 1, acquisition. We need to get that person as a member. We need to keep them engaged. We need to keep them in the know. And then also when it's time for their 1-year membership expiration, we need to send them an invitation to renew. So that way we can keep the cycle going and keep our number strong. So with acquisition, promotional signage, promote where you can. I was once in a webinar where the individual I was listening to, she said, beg, borrow, and steal any place you can for marketing. Whether it's signage in your lobby, signage in your elevators, your restrooms, your dining areas. If you have a map, if there's anywhere you can put in a text box for a membership, put it there. If your website has a pop-up when you first visit, like on your admissions page of your website, and there's a nice pop-up on there saying, hey, memberships, it at least gets the seed planted that the organization that you're visiting will have a membership that you might be interested in. Once you get to our admissions desk, we have promotional material above our desk. I have also been to institutions where they have membership advertising as a placemat that was on their desk. And then I've been to institutions where I've seen both. It's above where you're purchasing your admission tickets and it's right at your eye level. But with all your promotional materials, promote, it all really boils down to a well-trained, competent staff, because you can have the best membership product in the world and it won't matter if you don't have the right team in place to help you make that acquisition. Once you have them as a member, some of our engaged opportunities and programming for our members include preview days. And these are usually the day before a new exhibition opens. Double discount shopping days generally happen the Friday, Saturday, Sunday after Thanksgiving, and then also throughout the year where applicable. Behind the scenes tours. Prior to COVID, the museum used to host behind the scenes tours into our storage areas. Since COVID, and we are trying to keep in line with social distancing, behind the scenes tours at the museum have paused. We have since pivoted to our behind the scenes tours at our historic sites. Because again, with COVID, our bus trips where we used to take you on a bus to a historic site, those came to a halt as well. So now we pitch it as we will meet you there. So if you make the drive to one of our historic sites, as a member, you will get a benefit of seeing something that's not on a regular public tour. And we have currently started our next run of those. Those begin in August. They run from August, September, and October. Supper with Santa and Friends is just as it sounds. It's a members only dinner with Santa, and they also have access to the Snowflake Express, which is our new train, as well as all 3 floors of the gallery. Additional discounts for programs and camps, early registrations for all of our summer, fall, winter, and spring break camps, and express check-in during high volumes. We host an event in February called GeoFest. It is a 3-day gem, rock, and mineral show. And so we set up on those particular days an express check-in to encourage our members to come visit and be able to access the show faster. Communication, we have to keep them in the know. We have a monthly members only e-newsletter. The lead story is usually a members only program followed by 5 to 6 supporting programs, letting them know of available member discounts that are available for the programs. During COVID, these monthly member only e-news turned to weekly. We were closed for 3 months in 2020. And so we were pivoting towards a museum at home where the information, instead of a members only program making it the lead story, we changed it more to a featured artifact followed by some at-home science activities and virtual program opportunities when available. Now, since we're in 2022, we have gone back to a monthly distribution of those letters, but we also mix it in with some specialized e-blasts for any upcoming specialized member-only programs or exhibitions. We also put all of our events in our guide to what's next, which is our general program calendar, and also on the membership page of the website. Retention and renewal. Our members receive 8 invitations to renew. In fact, I just did a renewal before starting the webinar this morning. This one is also very choreographed and very scheduled. Our memberships are 1 year from the month you began. So if you become a member today, for example, your membership is valid until July 31st of 2023. So we are constantly sending out renewal invitations based on the number of households that have an expiration date for that month. All members we will receive 4 emails. They also receive 3 paper invites. And then 6 months after they have their memberships been lapsed, we send what we call a recapture paper renewal invitation to encourage them to come back to us. Messaging in our renewal invitations not only include the benefits of memberships, but more importantly, to what my colleague Jill was saying, more importantly, the impact of their support. So how is it that their membership monetarily is supporting the entire ISMHS system? We let them know how they are making that investment for us. And looking at the numbers, our fiscal year runs from July 1 through June 30th. So when we started our fiscal year of fiscal year 20, That was July 1st of 2019. We had 3,792 households, which for us is just great. Our highest household month was later on in December of 2019 when we had over 4,000. We were on cloud nine. It was awesome. We broke the 4,000 threshold. But then we all know what happened once the calendar turned to 2020. Our locations closed on March 17th and we didn't reopen until June 19th of 2020. So when we did the end of fiscal year math, we ended June 30th, 2020 with just a little over 3,000 households. Again, not too shabby, still a happy number, but you still have to remember that we were still in the depths of the pandemic. We were without vaccines. So the question was, how would our members come back and how are we going to acquire new members? And the numbers just kind of kept on falling down from there. Our fiscal year 21 started with the 3,000 number, but we ended at the 2,000. I am happy to report that we just finished the fiscal year 2022. So we are now back. We are so close to making it back over that 3,000 threshold. So I'm very excited about that. But during the 3-month closure, the ISMHS was working to install a new point of sale system. And we continued working on it while we were all still working from home. And I not only had a membership training manual or sales manual to write, I needed to take that time to make it more than just a how to click this button and click this button to make it the sale. So I wanted to incorporate some sales strategies for all of our frontline staff at all of our locations. So we hosted in-person and virtual trainings for everyone to demonstrate how making a sale on the new system, but also blending in some of those membership sales strategies. And so some of those strategies that we were incorporating were just refreshers for most of us. You know, a smile goes a really long way when you greet somebody. We need to determine what are they here for. Some of our frontline staff generally ask the question, what brings you by today? Inquire about their membership status, and if you find out that they are a member, thank them for their support. And if not, then that's the opportunity when you can make your membership pitch. You can complete the transaction and then make one final pitch if they haven't wanted to purchase a membership with you yet. It's your opportunity once you make the transaction to give them their receipt and with a friendly reminder of that they can apply their admission tickets towards the cost of a membership. And in fact, I actually had a colleague just tell me that they were at a science center last weekend, and he was a non-member to that organization. He politely declined their invitation to become a member. So when he was handed his receipt, he was handed a membership brochure. And I was like, okay, food for thought. Some of the questions that can get a membership conversation started is, do you know about our other 11 locations? Do you plan to visit any of them if you do know? Or would you be interested if you don't know? If you have come here prior with some of our programming, or any of your youth in participating in our programs, because members receive discounts on programs. Do you bring multiple people with you when you visit? Do you travel out of state? So all of those questions are just something that our frontline staff can use to get the ball rolling. You can also help them do what we call the membership math. A family of 2 adults and 2 youth will have an admission cost to the museum of $54. If you're think you'll be back for the holidays, or if you think you'll be visiting one of our historic sites, or you think you'll be going out of state, a membership would be very helpful to have with you. And a family membership can pay for itself in 2 visits. So this is, again, just helping them food for thought. One of the things we also did in our sales training was we did some practice. And so what we did in 2020 is still being carried over in today in 2022. We do annual refresher trainings for our seasoned staff and anybody new that's coming on board. Again, not only with the point of sale how-tos, but again with these sales strategies. And I come with examples. I come with dummy accounts. I have a dummy account for David Hasselhoff that we practice with. So it's very interesting. I learned that, side note, I learned that some people know David Hasselhoff from Knight Rider, and some people know David Hasselhoff from SpongeBob SquarePants. So just a side note. But those are the kinds of scenarios that I come with, so we can use dummy accounts to help practice the sale. But above all, once those sales have been made, acknowledge the sales with your teams. I send emails to our frontline staff at our historic sites when they make sales, or if they have very gently turned their sales in their region into a competition. I send accolades and it's like, great job, you've squeaked ahead of our other location, and we just make it fun for ourselves. But above all, I am giving a big smile and a big thank you, because it's of their hard work to make those sales and to not only make the sales for the new people, but then to also welcome and keep the membership going for some of our renewing members as well. I mentioned earlier marketing, or promotion, location. Also, it's a good idea, if you can, refresh when you can. Our membership brochure in the bottom left corner, again with the tagline, "Our members go places." Our membership brochure and the picture of the one membership, 12 destinations signage, both of those pieces were refreshed just a couple of months ago. It was time. So we use the membership brochures at all 12 locations, and the blue signage that you're seeing in the middle, those are used at our historic sites for membership brochures. It's a very lovely sign with the display of where all you can go, and it has a little holder for the brochures to go into. In the bottom, on the bottom row again, with the youth in the red shirt, our members go places. That is a sign that hangs on the 3rd floor in the entrance to our galleries there. In the upper right-hand corner, the become a member sign, that's a sign that we have in our elevator. And then the top 3 that you see, I took a snapshot. Those pictures are promotion materials inside our restrooms. And so as you can see, membership doesn't always make it into one of the inserts, but it's available, and every time they're refreshed, please know that I'm asking for membership to be one of them. But the webinar that you're all attending today, it's so good to hear from other people, other peers that are doing memberships. And so these are a couple of the institutions and organizations that I follow. I follow the American Museum Membership Conference. They just had a conference in May. It was a hybrid, in-person or virtual, and they have now posted all of their conference recordings online and made them available. Some of the sessions weren't recorded per se, but some have at least posted the PowerPoint presentation from the presenters, so you have access to those. If you they vary on different topics, so I encourage you to give their website a look. And also they have postings from past conferences. They host a conference every 18 months. So since their last one was in May, their next one will be sometime in the fall of 2023 with a location yet to be announced. They also host roundtables and webinars that you can sign up for their newsletter and receive an invitation to join. The second institution that I follow is Cuseum. Cuseum I had not heard of until the COVID closure, and they just popped out onto the scene. They are a very strong organization for digital memberships, but they, during the COVID closure, hosted something called Membership Mondays. And it was a webinar that we could join and listen from others around the country. What were they doing during the COVID closure? What changes are being made, et cetera? How are they welcoming people back, et cetera? They have now reduced their offerings to about every other month. But again, if you sign up for their newsletter, you'll receive an invitation, and all their webinars are recorded that you can review for future use. I also follow Colleen Dillischneider. She actually has been a keynote speaker at the American Museum Membership Conference. She has a a newsletter, Know Your Own Bone. It started out as a blog, her Know Your Own Bone. It started out as a blog, but her team shares ongoing research and analysis about how potential visitors and members to performing arts and organization think and behave. Her insights are very well received and very well respected. And so if you don't follow the AMMC or QZM, I do encourage you to follow Colleen, because she's also a hoot to follow. She makes analysis and data fun is what I can best sum that up as. So I do encourage you to follow her. So those are just tidbits that I am always willing to learn from others. Like I said, these are other institutions that I follow. I love hearing from peer institutions here in Indiana. In fact, I was making notes from Jill's presentation. I've made a couple of notes that I'm gonna, again, beg, borrow, and steal. That's all we can do to help keep our program strong. So thank you for joining me.
Well, Carrie, thank you. Jill, so appreciate both of you being here today and sharing how your organizations approach memberships. Do have a couple questions. Thank you, Carrie. I was going to ask you both to, while we're sitting here taking questions, to put your contact information in the chat so people can copy that. But I want to share before I hop into questions. Elizabeth shared that she can attest to Carrie following up when staff make memberships sales. She always loved getting those emails from you. So
thank you, Elizabeth.
And then I'm going to go ahead. I've got a question here in the chat that I'm going to ask, and then we'll open it up to all questions. So Jennifer asked, are your renewal emails sent automatically? If so, is it through your CRM or another platform?
I'll go. They are sent through our CRM. It is pre-written text from our marketing department, and I have to manually choose which letter goes out. So they are all the templates are titled, whether it's the 1 month before, month of, month after, because all the templates read differently pertaining to, hey, next month you have 1 month out. Hey, it's the month of, or oops, now you're lapsed. So I have to manually load those and hit the send button, but the CRM sends it, yes.
Thank you. Jill, how do you do it? How does your organization do the letters?
Yeah, we use Past Perfect. And so we can pull all of our current membership information from there. And we're really pretty simple. We just kind of push everything into a letter form with like populating names and everything. And we just send it out that way. We do it as simple as possible, just to keep us from messing up and from spending a lot of time on it, since it's mainly coming to me the last couple of years here. Since I'm the main point of person, I'm like, as simple and as straightforward as possible. That's what I like. Can't mess it up too much that way. Again, I have probably 3 board members that are really invested in the membership. That's what they like to do. And so they'll come and help. So we send out letters for everyone just in January, and we'll put it all together. But then we try to make sure that every person is reached out to once or twice more afterwards if they didn't do that initial renewal.
Great.
Does that answer the question?
I believe so. Jennifer, does that answer the question which you're hoping to receive? Oh, she says yes. So yeah, please keep putting some questions in the chat. I do have a question for Carrie. I remember you going through the whole setup of the NARM and the Aztec process. Can you share a little bit about that? I know they've got information on their website, but sometimes knowing that firsthand helps.
Well, it was sort of interesting that, you know, we're all about selling a membership, but it was kind of weird that, you know, we actually had to fill out a membership application for ourselves and submit it because we did do that for our applications for ASTC and NARM. You filled out the application and you also sent in your money. And then every year our membership is about to expire. We do receive our renewal invitations from ASTC and NARM. And then we, again, just like a membership, you send in your yes with your fee for the year.
Wonderful.
Did that
So
answer your question?
it does for me. You know, like I said, it is all on their websites, right? They just need to reach out and take a look there and they'll be able to get info or even reach out to you.
Reach out to me and I'd be able to help you. The ASTC has a general, I believe it's a general info web email address, but I have the name of the person who sends me my membership every year, so I can get you a direct name if you're interested. But also with those memberships, once we have paid in full and we're good for the year, that allows us to then use their logo, and that's what is used on the back of the membership cards. So ASTC and NARM will know whether or not their logo, whether or not you're using an outdated logo, because they change them about every other year. So they can know if they spot one.
Great. Jennifer shared that the reciprocal benefits helps her organization upgrade members to higher levels. Do you see that for you as well? Because with NARM being at that top tier, do you see that encouraging that higher level?
Yes, we do. We see the NARM as a value, and we also see the designated caregiver as a value. Just in fact, yesterday we upgraded someone to the Family Plus level because she had her designated caregiver that was going to be bringing the children. So we do see both the NARM and the designated children as a as a promotional to bump up. But I also work with our development team, and they have a separate category of members they refer to as their donor members. And so the development department and I work together to identify long-standing Family Plus members. So if they've been Family Plus for about 5 years, then we work to identify them to see if they want to then go up to an even higher level that the development department manages and become what we call a donor level membership.
Thank you. Got a question from Bethany. How often do you approach auditing your membership and the benefits, and then make adjustments on benefits programs based on evaluation and feedback?
Every year. I'm doing it now.
So you annually survey your membership?
We don't annually survey, but we do annually audit internally for ourselves, making sure that the parking agreement that we have with the garage is still good to go, making sure that the partnership we have with the IMAX Theater is still solid, making sure that we have it in our budget to keep paying our membership dues for NARM and ASTC, and then work with marketing on the frequency of member surveys.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jill, do you do the same thing, like an annual audit review?
We don't necessarily do an annual audit on our membership approach and benefits. Like I showed, we just updated everything within the last year already. I do kind of go through and I'll tweak things in the letter to make sure it's showing the relevant impact in the community and what we're doing, what any programs we're adding in. And I'll look at our membership form and make sure that everything is still making sense, that we haven't changed anything with our, like, for instance, an example, we had been previously letting someone, one of the membership benefits for one of our upper levels was that they could get a free item from our gift shop. And that was just a little unwieldy. And we had people who were like, could you mail me a book? No, I'd really rather not mail books to people.
Additional costs.
Yeah. And so we didn't get that very often, but it was enough that I was like, okay, we need to change this. And so we switched it to like a 10% discount, or like a $5 coupon or a $10 coupon. We've tried different things, and I think the coupon is where we've settled that we're going to keep that for now. So we've made some adjustments along the way, but we don't necessarily have a strict annual audit of it. It's just kind of a, hey, this isn't working anymore, or someone has brought this up, let's evaluate what's going on.
Great, thank you. Tanya's asked, Carrie, Jill, are phone calls or video emails ever part of your renewal process?
For us, I'm gonna jump in real quick here. We don't do any kind of video emails, but we do phone calls, in that we will have people, this is where it's interesting why we just send out something in January, and we try not to send things out multiple points in the year, because we'll have people renew multiple times for a membership for the same year. And so that necessitates phone calls to say, hey, do you want me to destroy this check? Do you want to roll it over for the following year? Do you want to make it into a donation? That's about the only way the phone calls really come into things, unless we know there's someone that doesn't receive mail, or they maybe come to a point where it's difficult for them physically. We'll make some exceptions like that for some of our older memberships, where we know they want to be members because they're invested, but they aren't necessarily able to do things like they used to. So that's kind of the nice thing about being a smaller institution, is we can take a really personal, hands-on approach with some of those members that we know.
Wonderful, thank you. Carrie, how about you?
We stopped with our phone call renewals. To Jill's point, we do the same thing. If I do see that a double payment has come through, then I will pick up the phone and ask if they'd like to have the check destroyed or roll it over for another year. We do not do video renewals. However, I am aware that the development department has some sort of software that I have yet to become familiar with, that development department will be using for some thank you videos. So I need to learn some more about that to see how we can, or if we can, roll it into memberships.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you. Are there any other questions from the group? Well, please, I'm going to go ahead and start my my end of show. But if you have more questions, please, please, put them in the chat. So want to thank you again for joining us today. Jill, Carrie, your insights, were so helpful. Learned so much today. So I appreciate you both being with us this afternoon. And thank you all to everyone who joined us today. We had a great group of people, and your questions were wonderful. So thank you for your engagement. I will send an evaluation out to you. So check your email shortly. And I do want to give you a heads up of 2 programs. Whoa, my screen is quite large there. So come September 30th, if you've enjoyed this program, please join us for Interpreting the Underground Railroad. And then on October 27th, we're going to have Building Alliances, Community Partnerships and Exhibitions, and Content Development. So those are our next 2 as well. So hopefully you can join us at that time. We are going to take a 5-minute break. So stay where you are if you're going to join us for our annual meeting. I'll go ahead and stop the recording now. And